I'm Bob Jones. I'm a business consultant here in South Carolina. And we're going to briefly review what it takes to start a business. But if you need follow-up information, you can go to our website. We have 21 offices in South Carolina, and we do assistance in startups, assistance for financial, marketing, business planning, etc. So the key question is owning your own business the right choice for you? Because it is not a simple task. As a lot of people have said, a startup is not a job, it is a lifestyle. So you have to be prepared to be a self-starter. You have to be able to make your own decisions. You need to assume full responsibility of the business. You need to be able to plan and organize. You need to have a lot of energy because some jobs feel like they're 24/7. And then you'll need support from your family and friends. So the first thing you need to do is you start with market research. Find the answers to these questions and typically find who you think a typical customer will be and how will you address that customer, how will your product service that customer. You'll need to find out about local competitors and national competitors if you are online geographically. It would be good if you can find out the demand for your product and the life cycle. So the first thing you do is you develop a marketing plan. And basically it is, what is your purpose? What is your why? Why are you doing this? What is it you're trying to accomplish with your business? What are the products you're selling? What is your pricing strategy? And your pricing strategy should not and cannot be the low cost price. That is a losing proposition, especially in a startup. Then you'll need to develop your selling strategy. Are you going to be an online business, a storefront business, a service business? And the other thing you're going to need to find out is, how are customers going to find you? If you develop a website, how will they know to come to your website to get your products? So that's part of your marketing and selling strategy. And then, of course, part of your pricing strategy should be, who are your key suppliers and how are you going to engage with them? The next thing is, how are you going to fund your company? Are you going to do it through equity, debt, or credit? Equity is basically your personal savings, either from money from family and friends, loans, gifts, and potential investors. Debt is all your borrowed money, and not all banks will lend money to a startup business. This is key. So depending on what your startup business is and the amount of money you need, we can help you figure out how you can go about getting your money. If you get a loan from your families or friends, it's really a debt, and they can be deferred, but they will need to usually be paid back unless you can get your family or friends to forgive that debt. And then your credit is using credit cards, and it's your ability to handle your finances wisely. So let's talk about credit. In a startup business, it's almost all your personal credit because you have no business credit. You must know your credit history, and you need to have reasonably good credit if you're going to get a loan. And you can check their credit score at either of these two websites. Often banks, my bank, for example, I can immediately get my credit report just going on to their website. And also most credit card companies will give you an immediate credit report as well if you have a credit card. So let's talk a little bit more about credit. The 5 C's of business credit. First of all, how much do you have invested? That is your equity. What is your ability to pay that money back? Do you have any property that you can use as collateral? What terms can be placed on the loan to assure repayment? For example, you could just do an interest-only loan, maybe for up to a year, depending on the lender and the agreement that you have. And then the last thing is the lender confident that you're going to be able to pay him back? Because for some reason, banks want to get paid back. Then we need to choose a business structure. Typically, we recommend an LLC. Sole proprietors, you have no liability protection. So in rare instances, you might be a sole proprietor, but we normally don't recommend that. If you want stock or you're going to be you feel like you're going to be a large corporation, you should either be an S Corp or potentially a C Corp. A lot of angel investors will only invest in C corporations because they don't want to have a K-1 to deal with at the end of the year for tax purposes. Then you need to choose your business name. And the business name, you can check it at sos.sc.gov. Then also you need to consider, will there be any trademarks for the name? And you can check that out as well. Does the name work on the web? That's a key thing. Is it really difficult to enter the information on the webs on a search so that the name comes up and your website comes up quickly? Check for the URL availability. And then again, go back and register the name with the Secretary of State with this sos.sc.gov website. More startup tasks. You should apply for your EIN. And to get your EIN, you need to go to a irs.gov website. If you go to an irs.com website, some people will charge you for something that's absolutely free. Registering your business is going to cost you somewhere between $115 and $140 or so. And EIN is free if you go to the right website, which is irs.gov. With your LLC and your EIN, then you can open a business checking account. But you need those two items first. And it's always good then to ask for a business credit card, because the credit card will help you establish your business credit and also will help you manage your cash flow since it only has to be paid once a month. I'm going to switch to another website or another screen. And this is the scbos.sc.gov website that was highlighted. And this is a great reference website to go to if you want to start your business.
Bob, we're
yes.
still seeing your slide. So you have to stop sharing and then reshare if you're looking at an actual website.
Sorry about that.
And while Bob's looking for that, we still have a few people that have not provided their full name to confirm their attendance. So if Nick could please type the full name in the chat box, as well as Corinna. I need full names of those people that registered, or we're going to be removing those people from the webinar. So please type your full name into the chat box. Sorry, Bob, please go ahead.
No problem. So again, if you go to this website, it's a great website to tell you everything you need to do to start your business. And you go to the starting a business light bulb. It gives you a 9-step guide. We talked already about research and planning, and it's really key that you understand how your business is going to fit in the world of businesses. To make sure you look at competition, etc. Then we talked about the registering with the Secretary of State. For example, if you click on this and you go down to the third under registration facts, here's the sos.sc.gov website. You can go to your business entities online, start a new business, and I'll put in a name. You do a search, it'll tell you that the name is available. And if it's not available, then you need to come up with a new name. And once you do that, then you can add that entity, but you have to do a full login. It takes about 15, 20 minutes to do this. Step 3 is your EIN. And again, make sure you go to irs.gov to do this. Now, the location is critical here too, because a lot of people don't realize they need a business license. And I find this often in dealing with people. So, and it depends on your exact location. If you're in the city, you're in the county, only 9 counties require a business license. Not all cities require a business license, but they may require something else. So it's always good to check that. If you're going to hire employees, we need to talk because there's a lot of things that you need to do to make sure that you're doing it properly. For example, E-Verify, to make sure that everybody is allowed to be working in the United States. If you're going to do retail sales, then you'll need to go to My Doorway and sign up for a sales tax license. And that's for products that you're selling to an end consumer. They need to pay a sales tax. Now, if you're working with if you're working on the internet, like with Shopify or Amazon or some of these others, Etsy, often they do all the sales tax for you and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're doing selling to outside this state, then it's going to be difficult for you to understand what sales tax you need to collect. I wouldn't worry. Initially, you don't need to worry about personal property tax for business, but that's something that will come up at the end of the year. And then we talked a little bit about financing your business. So this is a great website if you want to get more in detail on exactly how to start your business. So there's lots of other things depending on the type of business that you need that you're starting. Zoning is always a key issue if you're going to have a building, or if you're trying to operate from your home, you need to make sure things are zoned properly depending on what you're selling. We just recently had a lady who bought a home and then found out it wasn't zoned for what you wanted it for. So that those types of things can be expensive and create other issues. Again, you're going to need a city and/or county business license, sales tax license. The other key thing that if you're working with food at all, you need to talk to DHEC. If you're serving food, if you're making food, you need to talk to DHEC. And all the professions need licenses. If you're a contractor, you need contractor licenses, and they can be specific for cities and counties. And again, hospitality, you need your food and alcohol sales licenses.
So Bob, we're not seeing anything on your screen. So I don't know if you should have slides up if you left that website. Bob, are you still with us?
I am. I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong.
So just stop sharing.
I did. I stopped sharing.
Okay, so try and share your screen. And it will show the tiles that are up on your computer, and then click your presentation. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
I apologize for that. I thought I was back on. There we are, I hope.
No, yeah, there you are.
Okay, I just briefly went over the things you need to do in terms of licenses and permits. And one of the key things really is to talk to the zoning boards and talk to DHEC, depending on the type of business you have. And you will probably need a city or county business license. So here's another key thing. If you're planning to operate your business from your home or just a small or retail or service, and you plan and you're only going to finance it yourself, then the business plan you develop doesn't have to be that robust, but you still should make a marketing plan and a cash flow plan. The marketing plan is to understand what products you're going to have, what your selling price is going to be, how you're going to sell it, how your customers are going to find you. And so the whole area in the marketing plan is to get customers to come to you so that you can sell them your product. Now, if you're a much larger startup and you plan on using investors, then the business plan must be very extensive. It can be over 50 pages in that type of a business plan, up to 100, with lots of addendums and backups. So here's another key thing. Make sure you organize your thoughts. For example, a couple of times when I was helping businesses write their business plan, I would stick a little notepad by my bed. And if I had what I thought was a good idea, I'd write it down so I'd remember it the next day, because it's often, if you don't write your ideas down, you forget what they were, and some of them are pretty good. Go ahead and review the business, collect all the articles you can. Start putting it into, typing this information out. It doesn't have to be in any specific order. You're just doing research right now. And you can always put it in the right order for your business plan at a later date. So you're the, start an LLC, you're the only one in the business. So the organization chart is really simple. It's just you. So you're wearing all the hats, but you will have areas that you aren't an expert in. Could be taxes, could be specific marketing, could be sales, part of sales. So you should consider outsourcing for those types of products or for those types of gaps that need to be filled. And you may want to set up some strategic alliances with the chamber, downtown business organizations, or trade organizations. This is another way for you to get customers. Now, the other thing that people are always concerned about is when do I talk to an attorney, and should I talk to an attorney? Depending on your business, for example, if you're doing intellectual properties, if you have something that's really unique, you're going to want that property protected. You're going to want to have trademark coverage. You may need to have a patent. So these things can be expensive, but depending on the product, they're very important. If you're going to incorporate as a Chapter S or a Chapter C, you need to have an attorney to help you with that. If you're going to sell stock, then you absolutely have to have a subscription agreement, and that's something for an attorney to assign to do for you, because the subscription agreement basically says, one of the things it says is you will probably lose all your money. So this is a strictly at-risk agreement. This keeps you from being liable for any losses in case the business doesn't survive. You need an attorney to review contracts and leases and purchasing real estate. So let's say you need to borrow some money. What do you need to know? Well, you're going to need to have some skin in the game, 15 to 25%, depending on what your business is and depending on the lender. And sometimes they want some collateral or a guarantor, depending on your credit and depending again on the business and how much money you're borrowing. They'll want to have your personal financial statements, 2 or 3 years of personal tax return for each of the owners. And the other key thing is a business plan with 3 years of projected financial data. Now, the projected financial data is often a very difficult task for people, and it's something that we can help you with if you need to come up with those projections. And it can be based on lots of different things. So it's good to get some help if you're having difficulty with your financial data. So what should you know? You should know about the finances. You should be at least knowledgeable about reviewing the books. You don't necessarily have to be the bookkeeper, but you need to know what the bookkeeper is doing to make sure you understand your business. You need to have a very good cash flow plan so that you know you can pay your bills on time and you know when you can buy inventory. So cash flow plan is absolutely critical. You can do a lot of this with Excel spreadsheets. There's also some QuickBooks, simple QuickBooks software that you can use. Again, this is some area where we can help you. And then when you decide to hire employees, there are a lot of additional requirements that you need to do. And again, you probably need some guidance in this area. So if you're doing retail sales, then you have to pay your sales tax on a periodic basis, usually monthly. And it's important that you pay that on time because the fines are not cheap if you miss your sales tax reporting. And then there's lots of ways to do e-commerce business, PayPal. So a lot of different types of areas for that. And if you have a decent sized business, you'll need a CPA at the end of the year. So that's kind of, we're done pretty much. If you have questions, we'll go over the questions. And my contact information is below.
So go ahead, Robert.
Okay. Our first question is, what is a good resource other than Google to do market research?
But we have a couple of programs that we can help you with. It's called IBS World and some others. So those may be, depending again on the type of business you have, if you come to us, those are free to you type of research docket or research area things that we can do for you. So this is an area we can help you.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is, so you said you help with business plans. So maybe explain how you help.
And how we help with business plans is, number one, we help with in the wording. We'll help you organize the business plan. We won't write the business plan for you because we don't know your business, but we can help. We'll review the business plan. We'll help you if you're missing some sections. We'll suggest some sections that you should put in the business plan. And probably the biggest area where we help is in the financial documents, putting together the P&L and the cash flows. That's an area where we can help you quite a bit. And that's the area where most of my clients need help.
And Bob, what would you say are industries or businesses that might be difficult to find funding for?
Wow, that's a good question. I think restaurants are always tough because they go in and out of business all the time. So restaurants, it's going to be difficult to get funding for a restaurant.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is, can you please review the cost and best process to set up an LLC?
Yeah, the cost again is somewhere between $115 and $140 or $145, depending on what you want to include in your LLC. But if you go to that sos.sc.gov website, sign up, they walk you through everything you need to do for the LLC. Now, the other thing you should do is every time they ask for a name, just put your own name in. You don't need an outside agent. You'd be the agent for the LLC. So that's sometimes people get confused about that.
Any other questions? If you've got questions, please type them in the chat box. Okay, looks like we finished the questions.
I was just going to add, Bob, can you share types of businesses that particularly the SBA will not fund? Like flipping houses and things like that?
Yes, yeah, that and anything to do with illegal or substances is one. They won't do anything with marijuana or those types of things. I'm trying to think of some of the others.
Don't they also have restrictions on adult entertainment?
Absolutely. Anything to do with adult entertainment is restricted. Gambling, can't do anything with gambling.
Thank you.
Yep.
Did anyone else have any more questions? So Robert, did you want to talk about the post-event survey?
Sure. So when we close this webinar, you will receive a post-event survey. And if you would, please complete it and return it. And we will send you the slide deck and the link to the recorded event. It takes a few days to upload the recorded event. And so it typically would be next Wednesday or Thursday when you receive your email with the slides and the recording. So please give us about a week to get that finished. And we appreciate you attending. Any last questions before we close the webinar?
And if you would like to unmute yourself, you can as well.
Okay, a question. Any patent requirements for new businesses?
How's the question worded, Robert?
Oh, any patent requirements for a new business?
Well, if you have something, only if you have something unique and you think is patentable, you don't want anyone to take your idea and run with it, you should get a patent on it. But in general, you don't need a patent if it's for the business. Only if you have something truly unique.
That would be a product that you would actually patent. Is that correct?
Like
A
it's software,
product or a process.
right? Product or a process. Those are the only two things you can patent.
And our last question, do you assist in developing executive coaching businesses? Yeah, I think it's safe to say we assist with helping you set up any type of business except for the ones we mentioned previously.
So,
Yeah.
and that would be the setup of the business, not actually development of programs or,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, everyone. We appreciate your attendance. Bob, we appreciate your presentation.
Thanks for attending, everybody.